Okay. Um, what about Joe Miguel? Is he still on vacation, or is he not joining us?
I think he is still on PTO.
Perfect.
That out. Get the team calendar. It seems like he was still going to be out though. Weeks.
Okay.
It's back though. He sent me an email. Like he'll be back in September, so next week he'll be back.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So let's start. I think we are 3 minutes already in.
I guess I'd add the first
Um,
couple of
yeah.
things to the agenda. The first one actually more is your item, I guess, with the reviewing Paul's manager module for Kubernetes events. I haven't paid attention to that the last week or two. The latest on that is, or what's left for it.
Yeah, 3 days ago I summarized it a bit. So the Arunir, whoever he wants to be called, did a great job creating an RPM package for that pull request. There is some code duplication with the Rook module, but Paul wants to do that afterwards, and I think I'm fine with it. But the only thing that I really wanted to get solved or tackled is that we are parsing log messages from Ceph, and that's like parsing messages from the rook log, and or parsing rook messages from the rook log from within rook itself, and that's a bit unnecessary brittle in a bit. And yeah, I'm waiting for a way forward there.
See. Okay. Yeah, I missed that we're parsing messages or anyway. Okay. So you're waiting for a response from Paul.
Yeah. So in general, I
Okay.
think it's fine if we have a mitigation for that, like making sure we have testing or making sure we inform developers that these log messages are passed in another place or something like that. But right now, there is nothing, and it really just waits for things to break. There is not even
Sounds good.
any form of testing.
See. It's just been manually tested so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Good for me now. In Rook, I just wanted to bring up a couple things. Feature freeze was officially on Friday for 1.1. Looking at a few things that still like we really need in 1.1. Um, hoping to get them in the next couple of days. They're not really related to orchestration, but just I think we'll talk about that tomorrow in the Rook huddle. But feeling like end of next week, as the target release is going to be pretty tight based on everything going on. So the original release of the following week probably more realistic, but anyway, still pushing for next week for the release is what I'd like to do.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I don't know that we need to talk about more specifics for the release here. And then one other issue maybe is interesting here is for the Ceph container base image had a fix for yum install. Get that working, get Zeb, it looks like that just merged. So we're waiting for the new build.
So, okay. I just noticed that apparently one build failed because we are rebuilding all the images because of that. So let me see what the error is. But yeah, so ARM64 images are built, but it looks like after an hour and 20 minutes, the one for AMD64 images failed. So I'm gonna look into this right now. But yeah, we should have that new image today.
Great. And I see you already opened the PR in Rook to pick it up.
Yeah.
When it's built.
When it's built.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All for me. Anything else for Rook? Anybody wants to?
Nothing.
Okay.
Okay, let's continue. Yeah, I'm still working on making sure that the user cannot trigger bad operations from within the dashboard, like creating conflicting OSCs on the same host or something like that. So I've looked into how the orchestrators are queuing operations, and makes sense to queue operations by CID for Rook and by host by for other orchestrators. And yeah, the host thingy really is a bit problematic because the operations within the orchestrator API are not composable. So you cannot have a thing that's composed out of multiple things. That's really hard prevented by the API of the orchestrator. And yeah, I'm trying to, or I'm not trying, I'm preparing a fix for that. That will convert the orchestrator API into something that uses proper filters and promises.
So, and you're saying the fix is basically to make sure only one operation is in progress at a time?
Yeah. But in order to do that, you have to combine multiple operations together. Like if you want to make sure that operations on a specific host are not interfering with each other, then you need to know which hosts are affected by an operation. And in order to do that, you have to query the hosts. And you cannot do that right now with the current orchestrator API.
But based on the request itself, we can't, I guess we can't detect which hosts would be affected.
Yeah, for Rook, that doesn't really affect Rook because Rook queues by custom resource definition, as far as I understood you on Friday.
Right. Yep.
It's more about the other orchestrators.
Okay.
But it might also affect Rook in the future, not for queuing or making or preventing users from doing stupid mistakes and from the dashboard, but knowing if the orchestrator supports placements using host labels, for example, then we might run into the same problem for Rook also, that we cannot do chained operations from within the orchestrators. Another example is replacing OSDs, which consist of multiple steps within the orchestrator. That might also need composable operations.
Yeah. Yeah, replacing an OSD, yeah, multiple steps. We need to make sure other things aren't going to pick up that device and deploy an OSD at the same time.
Yeah. So we could implement replace OSDs in the orchestrator. I don't know if it is the best place to put that code, but it is certainly possible. Because the orchestrator is not declarative, but imperative from ground up, so it might fit there a bit better if it makes sense.
Yeah, the replace OSD scenario is more of an imperative thing, like you said. So doing it completely in Rook, it's not clear to me yet how we do that, but based on Blaine's, let's see, the command reporter, maybe we could execute jobs from the manager module to go do things on specific nodes and make it more imperative action. Base OSDs. We talked about that briefly at least 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Can't remember if that was just Blaine and I or.
Yeah.
Oh, your audio, Blaine, I think is. Again.
I think Blaine is rejoining.
Comes.
Blaine?
Yeah.
That's
I don't know
better.
if you can hear me better.
Yeah.
I know you and I had a conversation, Travis. I don't know who else was there for that.
At least it's also in the orchestrator pad at August 19th.
Last week then.
Yeah.
At least the question marks are there. Maybe, yeah, the discussion about how to do it. At least we didn't talk about command reporter. Yeah, so I think there's a possibility of running a job directly from the orchestrator, but yeah, I think it just needs more design. Out.
Okay, that's all I have for today. The composable ops thing will be bigger. I think it will really need a rework for every orchestrator, or refactoring for every orchestrator. Testing will be a bit challenging.
And something that happens once into a composable operation. Yeah, it'll be a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I don't have anything else either.
Last chance. See you next week.
All right, thanks everyone. Oh, by the way, next week is holiday in the US, so I'll miss this meeting.
Perfect.
Okay. Enjoy the long weekend.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Have a good week.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.